Good morning. Happy Friday if you're watching this with me. Happy Tuesday if you're watching this because I dropped the lesson because, hey, Monday's apparently a holiday. So you get a 3-day weekend, which means I'm not going to give you any lessons on Monday. But it's fine because we'll figure it out. I had a problem with my camera setup. I had a problem with this and that, so I'm just now getting my notebook out, but it's fine. So, good morning. Or, you know what, if you're watching this later, good afternoon. Maybe it's midnight. Happy midnight. Maybe it's 3 a.m. Happy 3 a.m. I don't know. Happy days. Today, you guys, I am not ready for class today. Today, we're going way back because in this class, if I can find there they are. I wanted my examples so I knew they would work. In this chapter, I teach you 3 methods of solving. I teach you square root method if it's already in vertex form. I teach you quadratic formula if it's in standard form. I teach you completing the square if you want to go to vertex form and then solve it that way. But what I never teach you, what this book never teaches us, is solving by factoring. We kind of throw it in, but it's been 2 whole chapters since we factored, and so I just wanted to remind you that factoring's a thing that helps us a lot. And we're all pretty good at it, so I just wanted to give you like a bonus episode where you practice solving by factoring. And then next week, when we do, is this up? Yes. Next week, so we're here. Next week, we're going to solve systems involving quadratics. Most of these are going to be solved using factoring. So I just wanted to give you like a refresher course before we get to this one. This is one that a lot of people are going to be skipping. And it's actually not really 9.5. It's actually 7.5. So we're going to be honest about that. And that way, if somebody later is looking up how to factor, maybe they can find this and use it. So this is my method for factoring. That I'm going to refresh your memory, or teach you again, or teach you the first time. And then we're going to be good. We're done. I'm going to give you a review, and then once you're done with the review, I'm going to give you your quiz, and then you'll just be good. We're literally almost there. So that's kind of scary to me, but whatever. Okay. My document camera is not set up all the way. I'm fixing it on my screen. There we go. Now you can fix it with me. Okay, so this is, I'm calling it 9.5b, but it's actually 7.5, so I don't want you to feel like I'm lying to you. We are going back 2 chapters just to refresh our memories. Also, good morning. I'm not sure who's here, but somebody's watching, and it's not me, so glad you're here. We're going to solve by factoring. Now this is my favorite method. It might not be yours. You might be in the quadratic formula train. You might hate plugging in the numbers, so you might understand completing the square more. I don't know. Completing the square works really well if it's an even number in the middle. Quadratic formula works for everything, but it's kind of hard sometimes. And this one works if there's no a value. My cat's going to drop something. If there's no a value, because we don't really know how to factor with an a value there. You will one day. We'll do it in Algebra 2, but in Algebra 1 you don't learn that. Some of the times. Some schools will teach you. It's fine. Okay, so let me tell you some steps because I feel like that's important for some people. We're going to move everything to one side. Now that might not be a thing you have to do every single time. Maybe sometimes you don't. Maybe sometimes everything's already on one side, but it is our first step. So our first 2 example problems won't be doing this, and then our last one will be. 2. Why? There we go. We're going to factor. So just as a reminder, if we have like if we have x squared plus bx plus c, we do an x puzzle with c on top and b on bottom. And then these 2 side numbers have to multiply to get the top and add to get the bottom. We usually call those P and Q. And then we go to factored form. X plus P, X plus Q. And then we solve. And that's using the zero product property. But property, what that really means is that x equals negative P and x equals negative Q. It's just the opposites. So I'm going to show you, I have 4 examples on my page, and I think I gave you 6 questions on your homework. Oh, I gave you 8 questions on your homework, but it's fine. I wanted you to practice it really well. All right, so here's our first example. We have x squared plus 3x minus 4 equals 0. That's our first example. This is already all on one side, so we don't need to worry about rearranging it. But I do need to worry about color coding because some of us get confused easily. And I'm also going to worry about factoring. So let's, I'll just do some colors. I don't know, pink and purple. No, those look too close. Pink and orange. Maybe a little farther apart. So negative 4 goes on top. That might be too dark. And 3 goes on bottom. And then we need to figure out what multiplies together to get negative 4 and adds to get positive 3. I know 2 times 2 makes 4, but that won't make 3 no matter how I do it. And then the only other option is 1 times 4. Can I make this darker on the screen? Oh, I can. Beautiful. So multiply and add. So I know that 1 times 4 makes 4. And then I know that if the 1 was negative, I would do negative 1 plus 4, which is 3. So those are my factors, are x minus 1 and x plus 4. Need another color. I will do purple. My finger smeared it. I'm glitching out too. It's fine. I don't care. And so then I do the zero product property. X minus 1 equals 0. X plus 4 equals 0. And I solve those separately. So I'm going to add the 1. I'm going to subtract the 4. And I don't usually do that all at once, but it's fine. X equals 1 and x equals negative 4. Now, this might sound familiar because you might have done this already, which we did. But I just wanted to remind you that it is a valid method to solve quadratics. I don't remember if we actually did it already. Solving. Oh yeah, we totally did this one already back in 7.5. Weird. But we did it factoring more than we did solving, so that's the solutions. Okay. I'm going to do another one where I have m squared plus 2m equals 48. All of the ones on your homework you can totally factor. If you happen to come across one that you can't factor, it would be, like the answer would be no solution. Because sometimes you just can't. Ask me if you have any questions. So I'm going to do my first step, which is to move everything to one side. I'm just going to put the 48 over on the left side because there's more stuff on the left than there is on the right. So I have m squared. I can't put these together because they're different. So I just have m squared plus 2m minus 48 equals 0. Now I use the factor puzzle, or the X puzzle as we call it. Negative 48 on the top and 2 on the bottom. Now, I'm not really sure what multiplies to get 48 and adds to get 2. So let me think about this for a second. 48 I know is 1 times 48, which is way too far apart to make 2. It's also 12 times 4, which is still too far apart. And then if it's 12, it's probably also 6. So it's probably 6 times something. 6 times 8. Those are 2 apart. So I know 6 and 8 make 48. And I want it to be a positive 2. So I want this to be a negative 6. So it's x minus 6 and x plus 8. And then I make those both equal 0. So I end up with x equals positive 6 and x equals negative 8. Oh, you know what I totally messed up on, and I was going to show you this example on purpose, and I totally forgot to do it, is that this was m before, so it's actually still m. If I wasn't doing this live, I would rip this page out and then restart this whole thing, but it should be the same variable the whole time. And I messed up on that. See, teachers make mistakes too. So frequently. Okay, I'm going to show you your homework because that's really all you need to know, but then I'm going to come back and do 2 more example problems just so you have them in case you want more assistance. But that's what you needed to know. So, let me show you your homework. It does look like a lot, but I wanted you to practice this, and I know that you're very quick and good at factoring, so there's your assignment. I also wanted, see the bottom 2? You have to move that over and it'll match with the other one. So if you subtract 30, it goes with the 20. And if you subtract the 7, it goes with the 8. But otherwise, it's all the same thing. So that was all you needed. If you want to, you can stop the video right now and just do your homework. But I'm going to go back and do a couple more examples because I know some people need those. And then we'll be good. All right. I'm going to do them on my scratch paper. Nah, I'll do them here. All right. That way when I upload it, it'll all be on the same page. Also, I don't know who's here. Good morning. Somebody keeps watching these and I don't know who you are. I think there's one person the whole time, but I'm not sure if it changes every time or not. All right, so example 3, we will do, I'm going to try to change this without messing it up too much. N squared plus 4n minus 10 equals 2. So that'll be kind of like the last 4, or last 2 problems. All right. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. And I have n squared plus 4n minus 12 equals 0. All of these so far have had positive middle numbers, and I probably should have changed that. It's fine. I'll know for next year. All right. So negative 12 goes on top. And 4 goes on bottom. I have a little Lego brick here from before. I don't know why it keeps coming back. That was from weeks ago, miss. Okay, so now I have to figure out what multiplies to get negative 12 and adds to get 4. Now I know 1 times 12, but those are too far apart. 3 times 4 makes 12, but that won't make 4. Oh, it must be 2 and 6. So I know that 2 and 6 makes 12. And if the 2 is negative, that would make a positive 4. Next year when I do this, I'm going to make this a negative 4, and it would be a positive 2 and a negative 6 instead. I'll make the next one that way. Okay, now I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. It's n minus 2, and it's n plus 6. Now, invariably, somebody always asks me if it's okay if they switched them up. It's okay. It doesn't matter. The order that you write these in doesn't change the problem at all because of the commutative property of multiplication, which is why we teach that too in like middle school or elementary school. But then you forget it. And then again, I don't really want to go through the steps of writing equals 0 because I know it's just going to be the opposite of both numbers. But this time I remember that it's n and not x. So, yay me. Once again, totally fine if you just want to do the homework. I'll do one more example because I don't really like this like open space because I have a little tiny bit of OCD. So we'll just do one more problem. We'll make it a negative in the middle. Let's do y squared minus y equals 20. Let's do that one. And you can try to beat me to the answer too. You can see if you got it right. All right, we're going to subtract 20. You can pause it, and then you can see. You can't pause it if you're my live viewer, though. Okay, X puzzle. Negative 20 on top. Y has a negative in front of it, so it's negative 1 on bottom. And then we factor. What multiplies to get 20? Now it's to get negative 1. Let's see, 20 is 10 times 2, or 5 times 4. Oh, 5 times 4. So I know that 5 and 4 make 20. And if it was a negative 5, that would make it a negative 1. So we're good. So then I learn my lesson and I go y minus 5 and y plus 4. Oops, you know what I'm doing? I'm not saying equals 0 on these. I'm just getting lazier and lazier. So I know that y equals positive 5 and y equals negative 4. And then if you try to beat me and you got the answer the other way around, you're doing great. It doesn't matter. Now, we don't know how to factor if there is an a value, so don't worry about doing it if there is an a value. Basically, if it's in vertex form, use the complete the square method where you rearrange it. If it's in standard form with an a value, use quadratic formula. If it's in standard form without an a value, either complete the square or use factoring. That's your call. It really doesn't matter. You could do any of these problems today using completing the square, except that most of them have odd numbers, and so you probably don't want to do that. So this one I would complete the square. This one I can complete the square. This one I wouldn't. That one I wouldn't. You also can complete the square in case you can't factor. Completing the square will probably just mean that you get like a weird decimal answer, but you still get an answer. We're going to wrap all that up next week when we talk about solving systems with quadratics, which just means it's a system of equations with a squared in it. It's totally fine. They're all fairly easy to solve using factoring or completing the square, so it'll be your choice what method you use. It'll be your choice which method makes the most sense to you. And then maybe I'm going to give you a quiz. It's going to happen. Let me show you the calendar again. That last week. I haven't decided yet, so don't judge me on this, but I might give you one quadratic that you have to solve using all the methods. That'd be kind of cool, because then you can show me that what you know, and you can also check your own work, because every answer should be the same. But we'll see what happens. I'm not sure yet. I haven't talked to my Algebra 1 peeps yet, so that'll change that. But if you have any questions, please tell me. I frequently have people that ask me to do more practice problems for you, and I absolutely do that. So, and then I upload them onto this channel. So if you have more questions or need more help, please email me. Please come to office hours. Please ask me for help, because I am here for you. I sit on office hours sometimes for an hour alone. But I have some people now that figure out that I'm useful when I do office hours. So come on over, ask me questions, email me if you need to, ask me on the Google Classroom, shoot me an email with your picture of your work so I can show you what you're doing wrong, or where you're messing up, and I got your back. So let me go back to the homework. All 8 questions, you got this. And you know what? I hope that you have a lovely day. Bye!